That night, the voice called out one more time. Rohan, Rohan, come to me. I'll take you to the forest tonight. I sat up on my cot, heart hammering. This time, I didn't hesitate. I got up and walked straight toward the tree line, the voice pulling me forward like a thread wound around my chest. You've been so patient, Rohan. Tonight, I'll show you everything. I reached the well faster than I ever had before. Like the forest itself had shortened the distance for me. And this time, no one grabbed my shoulder. No grande fater, no stranger, no interruption. Just me, and the well, and the woman in the black cloak standing beside it, her back still turned. Please, I said, my voice shaking. Just tell me who you are. She turned around. And for the first time, I saw her face clearly in the lantern light. It was my grandmother. But not the grandmother who had hugged me at the door a week earlier. Her eyes were wrong. Clouded, distant. Rimmed in a red that didn't belong on a living person. Her skin looked stretched too tight, like something wearing her shape rather than living inside it. Dottie, come closer, Rohan, she said, in a voice that was almost hers and almost wasn't. I only ever wanted to show you where I go every night. What do you mean, where you go every night? She knelt beside the well's edge, gesturing for me to sit with her. Every instinct told me to run, and every part of me stayed rooted to that spot instead. This well isn't like the one in your village, Rohan. It doesn't hold water. It holds debts. Long before you were born, this whole village made a bargain with what lives down there. A spirit old enough that no one remembers her real name anymore. We just call her the Keeper. A bargain for what? For life, Rohan. If someone in this village is dying, truly dying beyond any medicine, a person can come to this well at midnight and make an offering. Something that belonged to the sick person. A ring, pair of glasses, a lock of hair. You throw it in, along with a lit lantern, and you run before you see what climbs out to take its place. I thought of the woman in black fleeing into the dark. Both nights I'd seen her. The person from the first night, the one who ran from here, that was you? It was. Chandravati came to me 3 days ago, desperate. Her husband was dying, and no doctor could save him. I've made this trade before, Rohan. I know exactly how it works. I told her what to bring, and I helped her make the offering, using his old spectacles, the ones he wore every single day. And Ramesh got better because of it. He got better, she said quietly, because something else got out. I don't understand, Dottie. The Keeper doesn't heal anyone for free, Rohan. When you throw an offering into that well, she takes the life that's fading, pulls it back from wherever it was headed, but only by putting something of hers inside the body in its place. A piece of herself wearing the shape of the person you loved. Ramesh's body is alive. His wife is not wrong about that. But the man sitting beside her right now isn't entirely her husband anymore. Not completely. My stomach turned. The clay pot, hanging on their doorway. That's how you mark a house that's made the trade. It warns the rest of the village. Don't stay past dark. Don't trust everything that man says or does. Not fully. Not anymore. That's why the streets emptied. That's why they carry turmeric through the lanes at night. It doesn't stop the Keeper. It just slows down what she leaves behind. Then why did you do it? Why did you help Kalyani's family in the first story I ever heard about this place? Her expression shifted, and for a moment, the wrongness in her eyes deepened. Kalyani wasn't saved. Rohan. Kalyani was taken. She wasn't sick. She was cruel to a girl who deserved better than she ever gave her. The Keeper doesn't only answer requests for healing. Sometimes the village asks her to remove someone instead. And sometimes she simply decides on her own who deserves to be pulled under. And you help her do it. I've been helping her for longer than you've been alive, Rohan. Longer than your father has been alive. Every generation, someone in this family carries the lantern to that well. It's how your grandfather and I have lived so long, in a village untouched by drought or plague or famine for 3 generations. The Keeper protects this place. In exchange, someone from our line keeps her fed. Fed with what? She didn't answer right away. Instead, She reached out and gently touched the side of my face, and her hand was ice cold, colder than anything alive should ever be. You were never supposed to come here, Rohan. Your father left this village specifically so you'd never have to know any of this. But you kept asking, kept pulling at the thread until it came undone on its own. Dottie, you're scaring me. Please, just take me home. I can't do that anymore, Beta. Her voice cracked, and for one flickering second, something almost human broke through. Grief, maybe, or regret. The moment you followed my voice into this forest 3 nights in a row, the keeper marked you as an offering already given. That's how she works. She doesn't wait for permission once someone's crossed close enough. Calling out, coming back again and again. You did that, all on your own. No, that's not fair. I didn't know. I know you didn't. A tear slid down her cheek, and it steamed faintly where it touched her impossibly cold skin. That's why I'm going to break a promise I made a very long time ago. She stood, pulling something from beneath her cloak. A small brass mirror, tarnished with age, the surface almost too dark to reflect anything. This is how I made my own bargain with her, decades ago, before your father was born. A mirror instead of a lantern. It doesn't ask the keeper to heal or to take. It asks her to trade places, one soul willingly offered, for one that was never meant to be taken at all. Dottie, what are you? I've fed her for 30 years, Rohan.
I'm tired.
And I would rather she have what's left of me than one single hour of you. And oh, Dottie, don't. Before I could reach her, she stepped to the well's edge, held the mirror to her own reflection, and whispered something I couldn't make out. Words in a language I'd never heard, layered underneath her own voice like 2 people speaking at once. The water in the well began to glow. A deep, sickly green light climbing up from somewhere far below, pulsing like something breathing. Tell your father I loved him, she said, turning to me one last time, her eyes clear. Fully, completely herself again, for the first time since I'd seen her that night. Tell him I'm sorry I never told him the truth, and Rohan, never come back to this village. Not you, not your children, not ever. She dropped the mirror into the well, and the moment it struck the water, something rose to meet it. A shape too large for the well's opening, arms too long, reaching up through the glowing water toward her. I don't remember running home. I don't remember how I got back to my cot, or how long I lay there before the sun came up. What I remember is my grandfather shaking me awake, his face white as bone. Rohan, where is your Dottie? She's not in her bed. I couldn't speak. I couldn't tell him what I'd seen. Not the words, not yet. He searched the house, then the courtyard, then the village, growing more frantic with every empty room. By midday, half the village had gathered at our house. The headman arrived, grim-faced, and pulled my grandfather aside. Mohan Bai, I think you already know where to look. They found her shawl at the edge of the forest, folded neatly on a rock beside the tree line, as though she'd simply set it down and walked in without a second thought. Nothing else. No footprints leading further. No sign of struggle. My grandfather sat beside that shawl for hours, saying nothing, and I sat beside him, carrying a truth I was far too young to know how to say out loud. That evening, as the village lit their evening lamps and pulled their doors shut early, I noticed something on our own doorframe that hadn't been there the day before. A small clay pot, hanging exactly where Ramesh's had hung. I never told my grandfather what really happened that night. Not the well, not the mirror, not what my grandmother had traded and for whom. I was 12 years old, and some truths felt too heavy to hand to a man who'd already lost his wife. Ramesh lived another 11 years after that night. Quiet, distant, never quite himself, exactly as my grandmother had warned. Chandravati never questioned it out loud again. I never went back to Sororpur. Not for my grandfather's funeral, years later, held by cousins who understood, without needing to ask why I stayed away. Not for anything since. But some nights, even now, grown and living in a city that has never heard of that village or its well, I still hear it. Faint, distant, unmistakable. Rohan, Rohan. And every single time I don't answer. She spent 30 years feeding something so her family never had to. In the end, love was the only offering the well ever actually wanted. If someone you trust starts appearing in places they shouldn't be, calling you somewhere you shouldn't go, the kindest thing they can do is finally tell you the truth. Not everyone gets that chance in time. If this two-part story got under your skin, hit subscribe. We've got another Cursed Village saga going up next month. Comment if you guessed the mirror was coming before she pulled it out.